I think referring back to what your dream board or your vision board looks like, take a moment to reset, refocus, take some time in prayer, and get right in here.
We back and we live. What up, everybody?
What's
Made it
going
through
on?
Monday.
Yeah, what's going on, my people? How y'all doing out
Yes,
there?
happy Monday, everyone.
Hey,
Happy Monday. You
Made
know,
it through another
normally
weekend.
say what now?
Made it through another weekend, another busy weekend.
It was.
I actually like Mondays.
Do you?
You know, I normally like Mondays too. But this Monday I wasn't ready for this Monday.
No.
I'll work
Funny.
through the weekend because I'm at the final stretch of getting my short-term vacation rental ready. I got yeah.
right.
Hopefully we can start getting something coming in. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Get that income coming in.
The man's burning a hole in my pocket.
Just remember, spring break is around the corner. People are going to be looking for those short-term vacation rentals, my
Yeah.
friend.
Thank you. And
What city?
San Antonio.
Okay.
San
Look, man,
Antonio.
you know what you need to do?
It could have literally been anywhere. So
Oh, yeah.
You know what you need to do, Gmo? Let me tell you what you need
What
to
up?
do. You need to find out where Popovich is. Let him know. Like, you know Greg Popovich, right?
Yes, of course we do. Oh, when he
Geronimo.
doesn't. Oh,
What is
he's
that?
a coach of the Spurs.
I don't do sports, remember?
Great. Coach Pop. Yeah.
Okay, so
If
you need.
sports is
So the reason
Oh,
why I
man.
say this is because of the fact that partner up with the NBA. Anybody get traded, players who don't live in town, players who come in to visit, boom.
good point.
You have
Good
some property,
point.
right?
I actually got a friend. It's funny you say that. So what's the fancy hotel? The Thompson Hotel. So they have a contract with the Spurs and the NBA. My friend is the one who actually secured that contract with the NBA. So
Nice.
like anytime, like when Ice Cube came and did a concert, they stayed. They everyone stays at the Thompson. It's a really nice luxury hotel, man.
oh yes,
Nice.
yes.
Yeah. Oh, they got them out there in New York too, huh? Yeah, Thompson
Well,
is
see if your boy can plug you in with the Spurs just in case
Yeah,
they don't
Cole
need
my
something.
homegirl.
I know, right? Call a friend.
Your home girl. You
Yeah,
know
I'm
what
gonna hit
I
her up though. No, that's a great idea. Shout out to you, Lisa. If you just so happen to be watching this, hey, I need that connect. Come on.
mean? Yes. Like connect the dots, like connect four.
There you go.
Hey,
of
then you know what?
connecting,
Right
Go
after spring break, we've got Fiesta coming up in April,
That's
and
the
people
main-
do come out of
that's the main thing,
town to come and stay somewhere
Yeah.
locally, because that's a few days worth of partying if you're
Hey.
local here.
And I also have another idea too, because there's Air Force graduations happening around the clock,
Oh yeah.
and families come in.
Yup.
You know what? You can tell when you give Geronimo a good idea. He'll do this.
Fiesta, that's my main milestone. I got it. As long as it's ready for Fiesta, I know that's we in there.
What's
'cause
Fiesta?
things pack up. Explain what
Oh.
Fiesta is, Bobby.
Fiesta is a I don't want to call it a season, but it's definitely a season down here in San Antonio where a lot of our local, like, it's a big, I don't want to call it a festival because it's not. It's different nights worth of different things. I like going to Niosa, which is Night in Old San Antonio. It's done downtown, and so they have different versions, different food options, lots of partying, drinking, live music. Lots of people do unique crafts and creations and stuff, and so they go out there and sell everything. And then they have a lot of parades. They have night parades, flambeau parades. A lot of the high schools come out, a lot of colleges come out, and they'll do acts, and they'll do the high schools will have like their marching bands out there and stuff. It's just
Nice.
it's just the culture here. Yeah.
Huge. That
So
and
like
then
you guys' version of Mardi Gras.
So yes, yeah. like a Latino version of Mardi
Yeah.
Gras. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can dig
Oh,
it.
yeah.
When?
Carnival. There's a carnival, big carnival too.
Big carnival. Yeah,
Yeah.
at the Alamo Dome.
Nice.
People go there to fight.
Oh.
It could get ghetto. That's all I'm saying.
It can get a bit, you know.
Some of these people, man.
Keeping it ghetto.
Let's get this thing rolling,
Yeah.
y'all. So,
Yeah, let's go.
we are back. We episode 38, y'all.
38.
There you go.
Yes.
There you
Good job, Corey.
Don't tell me that. Hey, I am a legal citizen, okay? I'm legal. I was born here.
Hey, I'm born in the East LA. All right, so y'all back to another episode of Technically Speaking, where we are giving you news
that you can use.
Yeah. So, as always, we have our co-host Bobby Lopez. You saw how she was doing. Say what's up, ma'am.
What's up, y'all?
See, like I said, when I respect you, I call you sir and ma'am. See, I respect you.
You already know. I hear you.
Our co-host Corey Giovanni.
Hey, my nigga.
You saying Monica?
Monica. He was saying Monica. That's what he was saying. Monica.
I just wanted to switch it up a little bit because he was like, we respect you. So I was like, let me go real left with it.
He don't want us to get the views. He wants to get
it. I know, right?
I said Monica.
Now I'm your co-host Geronimo, and then back for the second time, but the first time we had to do a refire for all my military folks, is a special guest who is an Air Force veteran, a licensed social worker, an adjunct professor, writer, poet, and a Francophile. Did I say it right this time? A Francophile, living in New York.
That is all correct. Yeah.
See, that's the beauty of getting a chance to do this again. I got to say it right this time.
I'm glad you did, because Francophile sounds kind of a little, there's a whole other thing that comes out of file. You know what I'm saying? Francophile, other files. We're not going to say Dracophile, but we already know when we hear file.
The file part means like lover.
So
like
that's what
whatever comes first.
Ooh.
Okay.
Like the love rain, I think those are like pluvo files or something.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that.
So I'm a burger file then, because I like burgers.
Corey.
But IG, Facebook, YouTube, help us welcome Miss Dani back to the show, y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so starting us out, Dani. What the heck? Like we tried covering this last time, but explain what a Francophile is.
Someone that loves things French, like the country, the food, the music, the language, which is I'm learning the language.
Nice. Now I gotta ask, the men?
Oh, definitely the men. Definitely the men.
Hey.
I got a question.
I gotta ask the ladies.
Corey, I knew you had a question.
Go ahead.
Look, what I'm saying? You said French. I'm thinking fried. So what do they call potatoes over in France?
Frites.
What's a good? What they say?
Frites.
Frites. They call them frites, not freaks, but frites. Okay, I'm
out at night.
The fleets come out at night. They come out at night. Fleets.
Yeah, like they also call them frites in like Amsterdam, because I visited Amsterdam last summer.
Ooh, nice.
And I do not like the food from Amsterdam. The food in Paris was delicious. I can go there just for food over and over and over again. But Amsterdam was nothing but like burgers and frites. I didn't want to see a French fry when I got back. Like, no.
Wow. They really eat a lot of French fries out there, huh? I'm sorry.
Keep you sober.
Please. Keep you, absorb all that alcohol. That's what's up.
Yeah.
And others.
And others.
And there
you said
go.
Amsterdam, baby. You already know.
Hey.
Let's move the subject before we go down a rabbit hole.
They were ahead of the curve with keeping certain things legal or making it legal, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But oddly enough, you cannot smoke it on the streets. You have to go into the cafe.
The cafe.
Oh.
You can't just be standing on the corner smoking marijuana, and nowhere in Amsterdam.
Okay, so you mean
I didn't know that. They make it seem like it's a free-for-all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is in the cafes. You can go in the cafes, buy whatever you want, or at home too if you took it home. But you can't be like on the corner smoking marijuana.
You can't get a public roll, is what you're saying. You can't have a public.
But they got the cafes everywhere, and you can go in there and indulge. And it's almost set up like a bar, from what I've been told.
Oh, you're a friend.
Like Chantel, not Danielle.
Chantel.
Yeah, it's like set up like a bar. And some of them don't even serve like alcohol. It's like coffee, juice, and snacks.
That's dope.
And weed. I get it.
Any kind of marijuana you like.
Okay.
Any kind?
And they can tell you like if it's strong, potent. You just pick like which strand you want.
They got that.
That's crazy.
Just picking
The sticky icky.
Ooh, we with some coffee and some cream, baby. Come on.
Coffee.
All right, so one thing
Those
you
little,
want.
what do you call waffle things? I live on those. I forget what you call them. But you know
I know what
what
you're talking about. Them like they real flaky.
Yeah.
So like a streusel?
Yes.
Streusel? Mhm.
Yeah, I love those.
Oh, you make them?
Huh?
What you saying, Corey?
I said I want one of those, please, for me. Yes.
Hey, we got the usual suspects showing up. What's up, Dr. Pool, Creative Native, M Breezy? What up on IG?
What up, good people?
Yes. Let's jump into what Francophile. So you live in New York, and that was one of your main things you wanted to talk about, being a Francophile in New York. Like, what's that about? What's the significance of living in New York and you a Francophile?
I absolutely love living in New York. Other than the crazy rent prices, like once you get over and through that, then everything else is like definitely worth the rent prices. I have access to all the Broadway shows, which I love. There's so many events. Like tomorrow night, after I'm working from home, so I'm gonna be getting ready and go right away. They have like a French meetup. Actually, it's a language meetup, but I'm going to practice the French language. But it's all of the languages, and it's like at this really cool like bar. And then you put your name tag with the languages you speak, so you could however many languages you speak.
Oh, that's
and then whoever has the same flag you conversate with.
So it's almost like a love language, love Jones.
I haven't gotten any love there yet, but it's a little bit for everybody.
I'm thinking about Love Jones the movie, but okay.
Where are you going, Corey? What's going on tonight, man?
You're like now.
We're way out in left field on some of these things.
There's actually a lot of professionals doing it too.
All right, so they have a thing out here in LA called Play, right? PLEI. And when you back in the day, I haven't been since before the pandemic. But when you go to the event, you put your name, and then under your name, you put your well, we call them like username now, but it'll be something, you put your username, whatever. And you go in there and you go ahead and you mingle. It's called Play and Mingle. It was pretty dope.
That's what's up. Hey,
mingle and play. So when you said like you wear you know what I'm saying, write your languages and things in there, that's crazy, because if somebody come up to you like you can understand what they think.
You know good, Corey.
Oh man.
Look, I'm gonna give you a student discount.
Yeah, please.
Discount.
I'm gonna tell my wife, I'm gonna be like, baby,
Oh my gosh. Dani, tell us how you transitioned from your Air Force career into your social work, professionalist life, and just kind of tell us about what led you along to that vision of you wanting to be a social worker.
So when I was nearing retirement from the Air Force, you know how they do like the transitioning programs, and they're like, what are you good at? So they asked you all these questions. I took all these tests, but I kind of knew already anyway that I love like working with people. And then especially like as a supervisor, like I was doing a lot of like being a supervisor in the military is almost similar to being like a social worker, being able to help people, being able to, like assess where they're at and figure out what kind of resources they need. So then I'm like, okay, that's like a real good fit, and not like, even though it is completely different, but it's something that I've been doing already, essentially. Then I was like, I was living in Augusta, Georgia. The best thing about Augusta, Georgia was like my friends, but other than that, I was not feeling it like at all. Like it was almost like I was like, I do not love Augusta, but whatever, I'm not going to stick there. But I need to go somewhere that's more reflective of like my personality, what I want out of life. In New York City, of course, and I was born and raised in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
It was like the best. I'm like going home. I'm gonna be close to my family. They live up in Syracuse. But for the big things, like so much of our military career, we miss the big things in our families' lives.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of that. I want to for the big things, I want to be able to take a drive. Now I'm like scared to drive there. I had something happen, but so I'm like I want to take a drive there and go see them like that. And then it was like all of the culture, the art, the diversity. I was like, New York City is where I'm at. Like I could literally just put on my leggings and flip flops and walk to the bar 3 blocks away, sit at the bar and have like a great time. Meet people at the bar, and no one is like they're just talking, getting to know you. I love that. And then all the shows. I have Fashion Week here. I'm an hour train ride, or I can drive to the beach. I could go hiking an hour away. Like it's so accessible to everything. All the restaurants, even like my French part, that's where that came in, because like even that community is so good. Like we meet up for like even like outside of like class, we go to like dinner. We went to the New Jersey Shore for like a French weekend where we're supposed to be practicing speaking a lot. We did a little bit. We played some games, but we mostly drank wine and went to a French restaurant and to the beach. French wine, right?
It kind of
I love New York City. So I was like, I need to come back here. And then I wanted to do social work. So before I got out the military, I already knew that I applied and was accepted to Fordham University, which is where I'm doing my adjunct professing as well.
Okay.
So like I came full circle to a lot of different things this year because like I got a new job. So before I was working inpatient social work, like on a medical surgical floor, which is not for the faintest of hearts. And then a friend called me. She said that, hey, I have there's a job opening at where I work at, which is the World Trade Center Health Program. So I'm like, and that is like a perfect fit. Because like 9/11 like shaped so much of like my Air Force career. And then now I'm working with the 9/11 responders. So it's like full circle.
Nice.
Wow, that's amazing.
Just like the adjunct. So I went to school. I graduated from the Graduate School of Social Service at Fordham, and now I'm doing the professing there, or professor there. So it's like, again, full circle.
That's what's up. What are you teaching?
Clinical social work for LGBTQ individuals.
Really?
Wow.
Okay. We're gonna stick a pin in that because that's gonna tie into something else I want to cover later on. But say what?
I said, and like being in front of the classroom, like day one, I knew that I love it. Now I'm sure there's gonna be, nothing is 100% perfect.
Yeah,
but like day one, I'm like, I love this. Like this is where I see myself, but not as an adjunct, like a tenured, professor.
That's what's up. I definitely felt what you said earlier. When you're a supervisor in the military, you're like a social worker because you got to get in their business. You know what I mean? Like Corey, it's different being a supervisor in the military, man. Like you really got to you're a very, very glorified babysitter. There's been a couple of times, like you said, you got to refer people to resources and stuff, man, where I've had to refer people, to like mental health and like get help if they were, thinking of, unfortunately, having thoughts of suicide and stuff like that, where I'm like,
finances,
just grab relationships, finances. Like, I'm going to send you to a budgeting class, pimp. Hey, but they do. I mean, I never thought about that transition, like how we're pretty much being trained to be social workers. So how smooth of a transition was that for you?
So first, you got to go to graduate school. But I already have my bachelor's from University of Maryland. It took forever, but I got that, through the military.
We cannot just not recognize that education, though. Shout out to that.
Yeah.
That's hell
big
yeah.
shout out.
Yeah. So all I had to do was start with the master's. So I didn't have to start from the beginning. The master's program was 2 years, and then again, something else is just not for the faintest of heart. Like I was very fortunate for the GI Bill, like very fortunate because I was able to go to school full time and focus fully on school and not have to worry about working because they expect us to do a internship for free. And not just like a few hours a week. You're working like, what was it? Like 20 plus hours a week.
Oh, wow.
For free.
That's a lot for an internship.
Yeah. I mean, is that similar to like a residency, like in other medical fields? Like kind of like what
residency, they get paid, but the experience pays for itself. I will say that.
Okay.
The experience pays for itself, and if I had to do it over again, I would. But I can easily say that too because I did have the support of the GI Bill too.
That's what's up. That's what.
So,
nothing wrong with that. You earned that. Every bit of
it. You earned that. Speaking of the GI Bill, when you join the military, this is something I ask all our fellow vets that come onto the show. What made you join the military?
Now that is a story. Okay, so I was coming from school one day, and I'm gonna give you the full story. So I was coming from school one day. I just got finished smoking a little marijuana, and I was going to see a friend of mine that lived across the street from, like, I went to Sheepshead Bay. So I went across the street. She was like, "Oh, she's so scared. Come with her down to the Army recruiter's office." So I'm very agreeable. So I'm like, "Sure, let's go." The Army, they are very aggressive. So they was like, "You're going to Fort Hamilton. You're going to take this test," which was the ASVAB. And I'm like, "Okay, sure, still agreeable." And it was like snacks promised somewhere in there. So I was down for the ride. I think I called my grandmother to let her know I was going to be in late or whatever. Then we went to Fort Hamilton. I took all of the tests, and I did pretty good at the test. So he was like, "Yes, you're signing up," and then fed me the most extravagant lies that even my 17-year-old self knew was lies. But I didn't know, like I wasn't even tracking like what's going on as far as like after high school. Because my school had a program. So it's like you go to school 1 week and then you go to work the next week. And I was working down at the Board of Education. So that was like my place of employment. So more than likely I would have just stayed on with that. So then here was this new idea. But I could not do the Army. So I was going to tell them like, "Hey, this is not going to happen." And then I saw a lady, Air Force lady standing outside. The recruiter's office, they're normally right next door to each other. And this is how little I knew about the military in general. Her name was Airman Corbett. I thought the Airman was her first name. Even to this day, I don't know her first name.
Come here, Airman. Airman. Not Carmen, but Airman.
Introduced, like I had no idea. Then I was like, in the full swings of basic training when I realized that. But I thought her first name was Airman Corbett. So she was like, "I'll make all the Army," and I'm paraphrasing. She was like, "I'm gonna make all the Army issues go away, but sign up for the Air Force." So I was like, "Okay, let's do that." But her details about what to expect in the Air Force was more realistic.
Okay.
Like the Army, I don't remember the lies he told, but I just remember thinking like, this is lies. Like this
you're gonna get $40,000, but all we're gonna do is just take 8 months of your life.
Yes, it was just like no.
What year was this?
This was 1999.
Yep.
Yeah, we came in the same year.
Oh man.
Yep.
Okay.
I was trying to go to the military.
I don't know what they were telling the people at that time because I came in 2007, so I know what they were telling me, but I don't know.
It was like everybody.
They probably cleaned it up a little bit, a few years later. But not. I just remember thinking like, there's no way, because if that was the case, like even my little 17-year-old mind, the lines would be long out of here. Like, no. I was like, no. But I was like, I gotta go tell this guy, and he don't take no for an answer. But the lady was like, she gonna take care of everything. Okay. Then I did the delayed entry program because I wasn't 18 yet.
Oh, okay.
For those folks who are online and don't know what the delayed entry program is, can you please elaborate on that?
So it's like a commitment to join the Air Force. and then they spend some time with you, sharing things about the military or exposing you. For me, to like the military bases and people. But it was like I met with them, I think, every month until the time that I was shipped off.
Okay.
But it's like, hey, I made a commitment, but I haven't officially enlisted yet.
That's what's up. So doing that your time on active duty, because you're also a poet and you know it, right? Did you ever dibble and dabble into your poetry while you on active duty?
Oh, absolutely. How do they say? Poetry and writing saved my life. I did another writing for something else, like a submission, and it was saying like poetry can save your life. So for me, writing poetry is almost like a way to escape like the harsh realities of life. So yes, especially during 9/11, when because I was in Kuwait during 9/11. I was already deployed by that time. And then I worked nighttime, so I remember waking up and everybody was just like in frantic. But I was still like waking up. I didn't know what was going on, and then I found out when I got to work.
Yeah.
And it was like, glued to the TV as much as possible. I felt it would work. But as much as possible, it was crazy. But poetry, writing, that really helped relieve some of the stress of like not knowing what was going to happen. Like personally, military wise, family wise, my city wise. So yeah.
And that's so. How long ago did you start doing the poetry? Was it back into the early 2000s, or how long you been doing that?
Since I would say forever, but like I've been doing poetry for a long time. Since I was like a teenager. But only now recently I've decided to do like the open mic with it.
There we go.
But I have like floppy disks that I cannot access, man. And I'm like, I know that.
Oh man, you got the floppy disk. Yeah.
Listen, I'm like, and I tried. I can't even access anything, and I'm heartbroken.
And that's where you have some of your earlier works on?
Yes. And then you write it, you don't think about it because you got like work, you got life. But now it's like I pushed it up in the priority of things.
Nice.
Talk about that. How high up in the priorities is that poetry? What you got work?
What you got in the works with your poetry?
So and then I write too, but poetry I love because I could go I go down to this place. There's like a little community, another community that I love, and I'm all about the communities, like all about the communities. So my poetry community, or like open mic community, is Inspired Word. So they got a newest location down in Brooklyn. So I go there sometimes, but sometimes it's on Mondays, and I'll be tired after work on Mondays, and I just don't want to come home to travel all the way back to Brooklyn. But whenever I can go, I go, and then you get on stage. The people that come are so supportive and loving. Like every time I get on there, because I'm like, and then also I'll be like, they don't know what my plan is.
Shout them out.
Huh?
What's the name of the spot? Shout them out.
Inspired Word.
Inspired Words. Hey, for being so inspiring. That's what's up. So what do you work with? You got something that you want to share too, right?
Yes. And I go like this, but I'm coming back.
It's all good.
So because I wanted to move it up on a priority and put more focus on it and take it more seriously, like I took all of the ones that I love, the poetry, and these are all like mostly new within like the last 5 to 7 years, and I put them in a book. So the book is I'm working with a lady who does she got like, because there's a lot of work like to self-publish. You gotta you got to do the book cover, the formatting, which I'm not versed in at all, so I had to pay for it. And I didn't have time to and I know people who are really good at it and they find time, I guess, or that they do it themselves. They learn about the programs and how to do it. I just didn't have that part of it, so I have another person doing it. So we're close. We're at the place where I gotta make one more like approval, and then she's gonna help me put it onto the KDP.
Okay.
Oh, nice. So you publish it through KDP.
Okay. What's KDP? What's that?
Kindle Direct Publishing.
Okay, that's what's up. You gotta let us know. Hey, what do you have a projected release date, or we still working on that?
Poetry Day is March 21st.
Okay.
March 21st.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So I have a little bit of time because, like I said, I got a lot of things going on, but it's still up on the priority too.
Nice.
So once it goes on the KDP, like I order a copy to myself, and like I review it, make sure it looks good. And then then it'll be officially released like on Amazon, and then you can go buy it, and then it'll come to you in the mail.
That's what's
and
up.
Then also, I'm gonna order some and take them to the Poetry Festival, which is another reason why I love New York City. Cause we have a whole poetry festival for a weekend in July, and it's on Governor's Island. Governor's Island used to be like an old military base, so it's nice to get that little space.
Like, you gotta come back and do a post-release.
You say go back to the reunion.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
definitely.
We gotta do that.
So
go ahead.
So is this your first time publishing a book?
Yes, and this won't be my last. I've been learning so much. But I also write too. So the poetry, I could take it from the book and put it on stage, which I love, is like special in that. And I also learned that some of my other like poems that I recite in open mic does not go well in a book, because like it's more like the flow is different.
You gotta be there.
The editor, they was like, "What?"
Now that's more like the Love Jones style, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I've even upgraded that. I got some music that plays in the background.
Nice.
Okay. So and it's good. And then and then being up on stage, because also too, like when I started teaching, like I was worried because being up on stage, you up there for like 5 minutes, but it feels like forever because I'll be a little. Yeah. I just tell myself like these people don't know what the poem is supposed to say. So,
but if you mess up, they won't know.
Yeah. They won't, and they don't. But I was like, if I'm in class for an hour and 50 minutes, I was like, oh my God, like, is that gonna be like? But it's not though. Once I walked in, it was like sweet. Like I'm like, this is where I belong.
Right.
That's what's up. So when you're teaching, when you're on stage doing poetry, have you ever dealt with this phenomenon called Imposter Syndrome?
Yeah.
Can you explain what that is? What is
Imposter Syndrome is feeling like you don't belong there, you're not qualified to be there. It's like self-doubt. But it's like loud and ugly. Like the things that it's telling you is loud and ugly. And I deal with it frequently. I just have to remind myself that that I do belong here, that I am qualified, and then I write it down too.
That's interesting. Right. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, about imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm. You got to in on that.
Maybe that's not what I was thinking it was. I thought it was something different. I thought it was like trying to be somebody that you're not, and so you're busy trying to fake people out, thinking you're something that you're not. That's what I thought it was.
That's not it, but faking people out, that's like that could be it. I'm not sure, but that too. Because sometimes go ahead, Corey.
No, I know a lot about imposter syndrome. I did a research on it because I was gonna name an album that I wrote about it because of the fact that we all some kind of way suffer from it.
Yep.
We go into these rooms sometimes in corporate America. I'm like, man, am I qualified to sit in this room?
I'm suffering with that right now as we speak.
But
I'm so serious.
But this is how you get. This is steps to overcoming it. Realize you are where you're supposed to be at that important time right then and there. That space would not exist if you wasn't there.
Yeah.
So that's how you conquer imposter syndrome.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because it's funny because we all know, and I like I'm Geronimo know I'm the people's advocate, right? I advocate for the people.
I don't know that.
You have
What?
I like advocates. Keep going, Corey.
because some people feel like they're not qualified to do things, and then you just need to have that whisper to say,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you get that, I'm like, you know what, you're right. And then your shoulders perk up, your back gets straight, and then you walk in there, because 9 times out of 10, they don't know you anyway. So they don't know your superpower. So you show them.
Yep.
Yes.
I like that.
And I want to add one thing, Corey. That whisper, like I get that from like my friends, family, and I'm glad that theirs is a little bit louder than that whisper, because you know my heart hearing a little bit.
It's not
quiet.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm fortunate for them.
Yeah.
You know,
like sounding board.
And you gotta have that sounding board. It's this something you said. I think towards the end of last year or our first episode when we were talking about setting our goals, Bobby, you were saying that you gotta watch who you surround yourself with, because if you surround yourself with the people that like, what makes you think you could do that, man? You think you bougie now, huh? Oh, you one of them now, huh? You don't want to be around them. That's not.
There's only 2 people in the world: those that build you up and those that will tear you down. So you gotta be careful who you surround yourself with, because
100% agree.
it can very quickly change your span of your train of thought, the path that you're supposed to be on, because you begin hearing those things and you begin to hit that self-doubt and think that maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. We don't need those people
tonight.
What you say, Corey?
So
philosophical.
We getting philosophical now, man. We're doing it. Hey, it's part of that poetry vibes. Come on now.
Yeah.
Hey, one thing that I learned to help get past imposter syndrome, when I learned about it a long time ago, was like, first I learned it was kind of like that. You have that inner voice that's like, man, they're gonna figure me out. Because I think that self-doubt, you're like, man, I don't really know what I'm doing. I learned that most people don't really know what they're doing. That's the secret.
That is.
Everyone's trying to figure it out, yo. Like everyone, even if they're like the most senior doctor at a hospital, there's still something that comes up that he or she didn't know about. You know what I mean? So you just got to remember, everyone's trying to figure it out. Like once I learned that, that's what like constantly helps me get past that imposter syndrome, because I still get it too. In different like endeavors that I'm trying to do, but most of the time it's like, and if you pay attention, even if you go anywhere where someone is supposed to be a specialist, if you really pay attention, you can see they're just trying to figure it out. Yeah, the things that they do know like really good is because they experienced it before, but there's that one challenge that they come up to, and they just got to figure it out, man. So that's I saw Michael's. Hey, shout out to Michael, man. Out there, he's from Houston. He just showed us love. He said he loved that. So yeah, that's something that helps me out.
And another thing that helps me out too, and this is, I heard this, but it resonated the deepest last year, was that you have to be prepared.
Yes.
You have to be prepared.
Say it again.
You have to prepare. You have to.
You already know what I always say.
Say it, Corey.
Proper planning prevents poor performances, baby.
Yes.
5 P.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing how many times I see people step into a scenario and you can tell they weren't prepared, they didn't plan, they didn't get ready, because the confidence isn't there. When you prepared and you've been planning and you ready, you ain't got to get ready, baby. It's the confidence in there. You exude the confidence. When they come in head down and they start stuttering, you ain't no. This ain't no stutter. Like, come on, get it together, man. So, and you know what? You bring a good point, because I think a lot of people discount the value of preparation, man. Like, you got to get ready, whatever it is, right? You need to plan and prep for real. What does that look like for you, Dani, when you got to get ready for something important? Like, what's your routine to plan and prep?
I'll use my recent adjunct professor, because that was new. That's like the newest role that I stepped into. And even though like I have not a lot, but some experience, like, in the military doing like the briefings and stuff, right? But that's nothing like a classroom. Like they're different, but I pulled a lot of the confidence from knowing that this is not a brand new, like I've had some experience that I could lean back on. The first thing was the information, because I knew nothing about clinical social work with LGBT individuals. Like I know a little bit about working with them, but like to be able to take that and then teach it, I'm like, oh my goodness. And you don't get to choose like your subject, because I would have chosen maybe like substance abuse, because I have some experience with that. So it was like, this is what's available, and I'm like, I'll take it. Yes, please. So then I had to go to the book and read it to the degree that I can understand it enough to be able to answer any questions that they may have. And then like I'm the expert, quote unquote, while I'm up there. So I need to be able to use what I do know, like social work practice wise, in that area as well, So, but yeah, and then also I did the even though I didn't like it, I still made a few mistakes on a few names, but I did also look through the names and then try to make sure that the pronunciations were decent, because I got to call out attendance.
Yeah,
that's what's up. That's cool, man. So another thing you wanted to talk about was how to deal with burnout in the workplace. So I mean, you have 2 jobs. How do you explain what is burnout? What is that?
Burnout is where like you're at work and you get to the point where you don't like being at work. For example, is where you done put too much stress and too much time to work. And that's like my definition of it. I'm sure there's a more formal one you can look it up.
No, hey, you the guest.
But it's like when you get to the point where you're like hating work.
Yeah.
That's how I know, like, no. Because generally speaking, even at my other job where it was very stressful, like I didn't hate work, Right. Now, don't get me wrong, I would love to be paid and go travel the world, but that's not the reality. But in this reality, like I don't hate going to work. Like I love what I do. I went to school for it and I'm doing it. And even though I do got my 2 jobs, it is good enough to where I really only need one to like be okay, So those things are important to me, and those things also I remind myself of when I am like I want to be on the beach and not here, but I'm like, no, like this is what you want to do. You love doing it. You went to school for it. You on a good path. So that's what I remind myself. But burnout is when it's like when you're stressed out. Because ultimately, at least in social work, when you're burned out, the patients and clients, they suffer because they're not getting like
quality.
Yeah,
that quality support that they probably need. That makes sense.
And that doesn't help anybody, like no. So you have to practice the boundaries. A lot of those are harder to do than me just telling you to practice the boundaries. Like if you know that something that your supervisor is asking you is like out of your scope, do you do it anyway and stay late? I would say no, but it might be easier for me to say that than you actually doing it,
Right.
But fortunately, I'm very fortunate to say that for the most part, I've had excellent supervisors, management, colleagues. So I'm very fortunate in that respect. So my burnout was more like just working. Because also when you're an inpatient, it's 24/7. That's when I experienced a little bit of it. And then you got to pick the boundaries back. I'm like, I don't care what's going on. I'm going to take away, go to lunch outside the hospital for the fresh air, no matter how cold or hot it is. And then come back to deal with it. And then the only boundary I couldn't hold was the going home on time one.
Yeah.
Like if something comes up with the patients, I could technically.
You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. Now, Bobby, this is for you, right? Because Dani's kind of speaking from an employee perspective. I mean, as an adjunct professor, you're like an independent contractor, right? You're more of a entrepreneur yourself, but as a full-time entrepreneur running your business, right? Would you say that you run into like burnout as an entrepreneur, and this is for you too, Corey. Like, how is that, and what would y'all recommend as entrepreneurs to help entrepreneurs not burn out with their passion that they trying to make money?
That is an excellent question.
So, I think referring back to what your dream board or your vision board looks like, take a moment to reset, refocus, take some time in prayer, and get right in here, because it'll start coming out through here, and you'll start seeing it in your heart and how you act towards people. Reset, refocus, get back on track with what your vision is. This is all a part of your journey, and there's going to be some times where you're going to have to struggle and sacrifice to get through that big motive of success that you're going to want to achieve. And so in order to do that, you have to get right. Take that moment, take that breath, and just tell somebody, hey, I'm going to step away for just a second. And you don't have to tell them because I'm about to punch you in the face. Like, you could just be like, listen, brother, sister, we're good. I'm gonna step away for just a little bit and get yourself right out of people's sight, so that you can fix your sight.
I actually today I had experienced I put a self burden on me instead of the actual burden. So I have a project that I gave the deadline to Wednesday, but then I also, wanted to make sure that I give myself enough time and grace, because of the fact that I know that setting it for Wednesday, and if I wait till Tuesday, you got to properly plan for it, right? There could be a shutdown, the internet could go down. Like we had a blackout day before yesterday.
Oh, damn.
On Friday. And I was like, I got to be at work. I got to, even though I work from home for myself, I got a client that I need to make sure that things are done for, but by a certain time. And so I factored all those things in when taking on a client, because one thing is, as an entrepreneur, you don't want the work to feel like work. Like we know that you got to work in the business and then work on the business, right? But when you're working in the business, you don't want to apply unnecessary pressure, because again, you won't be able to fulfill the task at the point where you're proud of. You'll be just like, it's done, I wash my hands from it, and then you don't want to do anything else. You have to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna give it my all, spend the extra amount of hours, give it the attention, but then also put your hands off and notice that, like, okay, if I give any more energy to it, it won't be my 100. So I got tomorrow for it.
So you gotta know when to fold.
Know when to fold.
Hey.
Know when to fold. Bobby?
Yes, ma'am.
Reset and what?
Reset and refocus.
Reset and refocus and know when to fold. Okay.
Reset, refocus, no. I like that. See, look, hey, that's that adjunct professor coming out. She summarized. I like it. Nice. Because we're all entrepreneurs on here, man. For me, one thing I learned from my mentor, Darren Hardy, man, is the number one thing, especially as an entrepreneur, you got to master the mundane, because it ain't nothing sexy about running a business. Like, at the beginning, you get the honeymoon stage, like a new relationship, but that's gonna fade away. Like you said, right? You don't want work to feel like work. I'm here to tell you, every successful person feels like they're working when they work, because it is work. You know what I mean? There's no way around it, man. You like cash?
You shouldn't hate going into it.
Say what now?
You shouldn't hate going into it. You should generally know that that's what you came to do and enjoy walking into that door.
Yeah, this is true. This is true, and I will also say, not everybody can make money off of what they're passionate for, right? So you just have to find new ways to get passionate. For me, I mastered the ability to be passionate about being able to pay my bills. When you say refocus, when I get like that, and I'm like, oh, these bills is due, let me muster it up. Muster it up. Okay, bills, baby, because one word I don't like, foreclosure. So I'm gonna make sure.
And you want to know a word I don't like?
What's that?
Late. Yeah, late payment,
penalty fees, late fees.
Yeah, no more that.
That's all the motivation I need, baby. Let's go. Come on now.
real.
But
I got due dates on my calendar.
there you go. There you go. Now, if you're fortunate enough to do something that you are very passionate about it, so you never, not one day feels like work, kudos to you. But not all of us are going to be lucky like that. You know what I mean? So you got to find the passion in what you're doing, right?
Find your niche. Don't just stick to this. You got to find your niche, because I think whenever you find that can evolve into what your passion is. There's things that I've touched on that I never thought, like 10 years ago, I'd been like, I would never be into that. And now I am.
Yeah.
So things change, right? You evolve, you grow, you mature in your
for
knowledge.
What you got, Dani?
I said, Bobby, give us some examples. I'm curious.
Okay,
Cool.
I can give you a good example.
No, she said some things she wouldn't have been into that now I'm curious to know.
Yeah. Perfect example. Let me talk to you real quick.
Hey!
10 years ago, you couldn't have talked to me about living out in the country, because I'm like, nah, dog, I'm good. I like being near everything. But now I'm like, I don't want you within 500 feet of my property line. 10 years ago, if you would have told me I love cows and I use them for therapy, to do cuddle therapy with, like 10 years ago, I'd been like, yeah, you're dead mind. Now I'm like, I want to smell all these cows, because that's just what I love.
Oh, you have cows on your farm?
Girl, I wish. You know how expensive those are? They're coming. They are coming, Miss Danielle. They are coming.
You gotta say that.
They're coming.
What animals do you have on your farm?
I have a pig, and then I have reptiles, and we breed blue heelers. We actually have 3-week-old baby blue heelers. I'm sorry?
What are blue heelers?
Those are dogs.
They're working dogs.
Yeah, they are working dogs. They are cattle herding dogs, sheep herding dogs. They're working dogs.
You gotta keep them busy.
What about the food? Are you growing anything?
I do. I have a small little garden. I grow some basic stuff. I love cilantro, so I always have a lot of food made with that.
Hold on, man. If you need me to come take some off for you, I'll come get some.
I know.
Make my sauce.
No, because of my healers will kill them in due time. I'll get me some chickens. They are on the list, but all of those things cost.
People love the eggs from them. I used to get eggs when I lived in Georgia.
Yeah, I do. I would love that, but having to find a place to coop them up, because you have to keep all your animals active and busy doing little things and stuff. So time will come for all of that, and I can't wait.
Nice.
All that stuff costs money too. The feed and hay and lighting.
Rome was not built in a day. So
what now? What'd you say?
Rome was not built in a day.
No, it was not. What did Creative Native say?
Creative said owning a ranch, because he has a ranch out in Victorville, California.
Which part of California do you live?
He's in Victorville. So he has like I think 2 or 3 horses. He has goats. I don't know how many goats. He normally has pigs. I didn't see pigs last time I went back. He did he have? I think they got chickens. Yeah, they got chickens too. They got chickens. And they got a bunch of dogs. I think they have. I think they're Great Danes.
Ooh.
Great Danes.
Yeah,
that's a lot of boo boo.
Yeah, it's a lot of boo boo.
They put like up here. I'm like, whoa.
All right, so switching gears and speaking of boo boo.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna talk about something I think is boo boo. And we gotta talk about it. We were talking about burnout, you know what I mean? We gotta talk about Trump killing all these DEI programs.
I
think that's boo boo, and I'll explain why. But Dani, I'm gonna start with you and get your intake on what do you think about all these DEI programs. And that's, remember I told you stick a pin in that because we were gonna come back to that.
That's directly impacting my work. So yes, I'm hoping that it's just like a lot of smoke, and that even like the Air Force came back to their senses for now. What I saw on the news, they removed the airmen and then they brought them back.
Say that again.
I said I'm hoping that is a lot of like smoke, and that eventually none of it will pass.
Them things signed.
Yeah, they already got 30 days. They have 30 days. All federal agencies have 30 days to comply with that order. They have to submit all their plans to OPM, the Office of Personal Management, on how they're going to sunset those programs.
Okay, so I was not tracking that.
Yeah. Yep. So, and actually, I want to say the very next day after his inauguration, all federal DEI employees will put on leave.
They leave to the 31st, right?
Mm-hmm. Until the
they say what's going to happen to them?
That wasn't really clear. There was a couple of things out there I've kind of heard, because I work around govies, what we call them as government contractors. A lot of those positions or a lot of those employees are protected, right? So I'm wondering, and for those that don't know, when you become a government employee, government civilian, whatever flavor, WG, GSA, those are just different flavors of government civilians. A lot of those positions are congressionally protected. So I'm wondering if they're going to get a transfer like a Catholic priest.
I was about to say, I have a feeling they're going to ask them if there's other opportunities that they want to take in that sector. If they want to continue working for the government, they'll probably request another position.
Yeah, man. So what you think about that, Bobby?
What do you want me to say about it?
I want you to share how you really think and how you feel about it.
I'm always going to tell you what I really think. I always think that diversity is good. I think people coming from all areas of life bring different aspects to our culture, and that's good. That's the beauty of the United States, is being in a melting pot and it being full of so many people, which is a good thing. I'll never be against that. I think that everybody today in 2025, everybody has an equal opportunity to go and choose the path that you want to take. You can choose to go to the Air Force, to the Army. You can choose to, work and focus on family protective services. Whatever your passion is, you can take a path to get there. And what's the whole inclusion thing? How does that fall into it? For anybody, what is it? What is the inclusion part?
I'll let y'all go. Y'all take that. Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Well, inclusion means including everybody. There is like this huge misconception. I have to take not look at social media last couple of days. That people think that the DEI programs are like you unqualified. It does not work like that, and they could just easily ask. I'm not an HR specialist, but instead of assuming, ask HR specialist. You still have to be very qualified for the jobs. It's just that, like where I worked at, signals analyst, I was working with the NSA, and it was like me, one black woman, maybe 2 or 3. So it's like, okay, there's more qualified black women. Let's diversify this room because we all have different perspectives. And sometimes when you don't have like a wide view of everybody's perspective, you can get pigeonholed and fucked.
Yeah.
Those are just my 2 cents.
Yeah, basically. So so the inclusion part, right? So your business, Bobby, what type of business is it again? Not what you do, but because you always say it. Because you're an 8A, your business is an 8A company, right?
8A?
SBA 8A, woman owned.
SBA, yeah.
SBA,
woman-owned company.
Woman-owned company, right?
Yeah.
What
disabled veteran-owned small business. There's a bunch of little acronyms you can probably add to it.
What's the significance of having those designators for your companies? Being veteran-owned, disabled veteran-owned, be a woman-owned. What's the advantages and significance of having those designators?
So the advantages, I think, are that there are some companies who, in their policies, they are required to do business with so many woman-owned companies because they are considered to be at a disadvantage. Why? I'm not sure, but that's what they say.
So that's the answer to your inclusion part. They're including, disadvantaged owned companies by women because historically, women were not included. Historically, disabled veterans were not included. Historically, veterans were not included. Historically, black businesses weren't included. All those those designators that are in those categories, historically they were left out. That's what the inclusion part comes in from. So the origins of these DEI programs is to, as the expression goes, give a hand up, not a handout. So you still have to be qualified. So, and I wanted to use your designator because I have a lot of knowledge on like the 8A program and why they were released. For example, I work for a Native Hawaiian owned organization, right? That designator is there because the people of Hawaii got screwed. They didn't choose to be part of the USA. You know what I mean? They were just acquired. So one of the reasons why they have that designator, if it's a Native Hawaiian owned organization, it's kind of like we recognized we kind of screwed you over. We're going to give you a chance to be included so you can take advantage of these government contracts and get money that you can put back in your community, right? Like you as a woman-owned company, veteran-owned company, disabled veteran-owned company, you can get a chance to have a fair shot. That's really what it is, because let's not candy coat it. We did not have fair shots.
Nobody did.
That's the reason why these programs were created. So, and I don't know if you've had a chance to bid on any contracts to take advantage of those designators.
No, we're still too small for some of that.
Say what?
Actually, you're not.
We're still too small, I think, for some of that.
I don't know your industry that well, but I could tell you right now, we work with people that work with other different companies, women-owned, hub zone. There's all these different designators, right? The whole purpose of it was to equal the playing field, because historically, we just did not, and it is what it is, right? So, for me, Dr. Poole heard this spiel, right? Kick It Free said, in order to stop racism, we have to stop talking about it. DEI is a fraud employed to keep racism alive. I gotta disagree with that.
I do too.
I have to disagree with that, and this is why. So, how old is our country? We have an anniversary coming up.
You're asking me to do like just math off the
anybody.
It's like 240 something odd years old.
About to be 250 years old as a country, right? 250 years old.
We're still a baby. Our country is still a baby.
How old is the Civil Rights Act?
Let's
Let's see.
see.
1850.
No.
I thought it was like 1962 is the Civil Rights Act.
Oh, 60. Yeah, I'm thinking about Juneteenth. But no, you're right. The Civil Act. The Civil Rights was in 1960.
61. The Civil Rights Act is 61
I was close.
years old.
62.
So
it's not even 100 years old.
It's not even 100 years old. So I'll put that out there to say, treating disadvantaged communities is still a new concept in this country. This country is a new concept of a country. We have not figured out how to treat everyone fairly yet. It's still a new concept. That's my whole point that I wanted to point out. These DEI programs, when they were rolled out, was something that was recognized to where, wait a minute, we don't really know how to treat the Asians. We don't know how to treat Jewish. We don't know how to treat women. That's why we have women-owned companies as a lift up to help you have a fair chance to bid on contracts and get work, right? Because otherwise, what's the point of being able to say I'm a woman-owned company? You get what I'm saying? All that stuff was put out there because we have not figured out how to treat each other fairly yet. So to say that just mentioning DEI programs is keeping racism alive, no, it's not. The DEI was a solution to try to fix this thing, to teach us all how to get along better, and mainly so we don't operate in just white supremacy. Because who else was benefiting from all the work before those programs? And that's like a legit question. Because if it's one of the things I learned when we were in the military, right? When there's dumb regulations, why are there dumb regulations?
Somebody did something stupid.
We needed rules and laws and protections for minority groups and disadvantaged groups, like you said, Bobby, to tell you, hey, stop keeping them at a disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we just switched as a country and been like, you know what? We do want to give everybody a fair shot. If you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you. We're
I
not.
got one too.
We're not a mature of a nation. Like just as an overall nation, we're not that mature. And we've seen it. We could try to act like, oh yeah, it's all hunky dory. No, we're not. No, we're not. And when we start removing these layers of protection to give women-owned companies a shot, to give Native American-owned companies a shot, stuff like that, because all that stuff is on the chopping block too.
Yeah, when you already chopped, bro.
Well, it hasn't propagated down to the contract level yet, as far as though being a woman-owned, hub-zone-owned company, stuff like that. But that's in consideration. So people that own those type of companies thinking that they did, because it's not easy to get those designators so that you can take advantage of this. They call it a set aside, right? There's a certain percentage, like Bobby said, of government work that's set aside that says X amount of work will go to women-owned companies, right? If you just follow this to a T and get rid of that, now you got to compete with the big boys. You know what I mean? You have
and you don't have their connections, you don't have their funding, you don't have their partners, you don't have their advertising budget, you don't have any of these things. So now it's like the only way you get there is by building your own group of community. Like I get it, you know what I'm saying? There's things that as a small business owner, as an MBE, minority black enterprise, right? You can get certified for that as a business. You have to look at what kind of funding that I won't be able to grab because of the fact that, there was a percentage of corporations that had to subcontract small businesses, which were minority owned. That is gone now because of this. However, what we have to do is we have to be able to say, look, okay, I can't play in that field. I can't get that contract. So what I got to do, I got to hustle harder. I got to connect with more people, which if you're an entrepreneur, you already know. You just
should already be doing that.
You already, but you got to do it.
Let me throw something in the mix though. So one of the biggest things you need as an entrepreneur and a business owner is capital. A lot of those disadvantaged organizations would have never had access to said capital without these DEI programs, historically speaking. Right. You know what I'm saying? So this opened up opportunities to get access to the capital, right? Because it's easy to say work harder, but you could work your ass off and still not get any access to the capital that the good old boy system, they all get access to that. So just remember that.
So prior to the word DEI, we weren't using that word before, but I think that word has had a negative connotation. So whenever I see it, I just kind of roll my eyes and move along because I don't really care. But what was it called before?
It was, I think, so I brought up the 8A program because that is a DEI program. So any woman-owned, hub-zone, Native 8A, Black-owned, Native Hawaiian, Native Alaskan, Native American-owned companies, those are all 8A programs that are part of an overall DEI program. I think it took a different name or got recognition for other stuff that I think is probably related. Because even some people on IG are like, oh, no, it's only to help the LGBTQ. No, it's not. That's just, you don't know what you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, because someone said on here, I think it was Kick It Free, that it's only helping them. It's not. Because like I said, I get the benefit from a job for a company that was able to participate in that 8A program that was meant to help a disadvantaged owned company. You know what I'm saying? And someone else asked, well, where's the what did he say? How do Native Americans benefit from it? So for those that don't know, the Native American owned companies, they have their own opportunities to get access to government contracts too. So it's out there. And this is the thing, because otherwise a lot of us will still be on welfare, just keeping it real.
Or we'll be side hustling
or doing illegal stuff. And then we may be forced to doing illegal stuff and then being told, well, you always have an option to do something else. Not if you block everything from
take it away from you or not. See, DEI. I believe before it was called DEI, it was just called a minority business, right? Or minority options, right? Because that would give a person who normally don't have a seat at the table, it would give them a chair, allow them to pull up, right? what you do with that seat and what you do at that table, then how you build your business or how do you build your opportunity. Because at T-Mobile, we had it when I was working with them. I remember they rolled out. We was like, what is DEI? Diversity, diversity, equity, inclusion, right? You have a voice within a non-minority company, right? That makes changes. So we would sit down and have meetings and say, so how does your community feel about George Floyd? We pissed. People in Washington, Seattle, they not caring about what's happening because it doesn't really affect them, but it does affect those in the community where I come from. So they want to know, is it okay for us to talk about this? Like even just think about like Juneteenth. Corporate America before recent didn't really
do
nothing about Juneteenth.
Good point.
Us, we knew about Juneteenth. Shoot, because of the fact that it's part of our culture. So it's like, okay, so why don't we just give them the day off? Boom. Now we have a day off.
The direct result of DEI programs.
Exactly.
But what I'm seeing the chatter on IG, I think people just don't really know what the DEI programs really were because they keep going to trans-related LGBT stuff.
I don't know about that. Now, I will say that some of the stuff that I have been hearing about the DEI programs were like, let's use the big company Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola came out and started pushing what they would consider DEI policies, but they were having people get retrained in these classrooms because I think what I had read, I could be wrong. I ain't perfect. I could be wrong, but I think some people ended up getting fired because they had spoke out about it and said that these classrooms had them sitting down looking at PowerPoints about how white people are bad and how white people should be ashamed of themselves and stuff. And so it ended up being something more than just equity and inclusion and bringing diversity to the workplace. It was like, you should feel bad even though you know nothing about your ancestors type of deal. And I was like, well, hold on a second.
And that might be, maybe it was used incorrectly, right? Anything like that, that's not the purpose of these programs. I'll go back to the whole purpose of the program is to help disadvantaged minority groups, whatever that group, non-white, very plain and simple, to help non-whites. Because historically, white men always had the advantage. To keep it very simple and plain, this system was created for white men. The government recognized that. It was like, okay, we need to maybe, if we say freedom and justice for all, maybe we should get all access to justice.
I hear you. I'm listening to you. I hear you. It is justice for all. Big A, big L, big L. All. Right. I get that. I do.
And fully so the DEI companies were, well, not DEI companies. Let's just say it, like Target, right? Everybody's boycotting Target because they rolled back their DEI program. The reason why Target included their DEI program before all these rollbacks is because of the fact that people would go into Target and they wouldn't see Targets are in the hood, right? Target is everywhere, but when they go in there to buy clothes, they don't see nobody that represents themselves inside the clothing department. Tabitha Brown broke that all the way through, right? You know what I'm saying? Now Tabitha Brown, and she was loud and proud about Target, and rightfully so, because of the fact that, you know what I'm saying, we like shopping at Target, but we want to see us in Target. We want to be able to go and get Danielle's book. Why? Because it's in Target. You know what I'm saying? And it's a national corporate chain company. Now, if you roll back that, then you won't be able to go there and see something that identifies like you. They'll just do a whole planogram across the whole nation, and then the same Target that has the same planogram in Wisconsin will be in Compton, and people are gonna be like, I don't see me wearing this clothing. I don't. You know what I'm saying?
That's truly what it is. They need to identify.
They need to identify where the communities where they're going to be. That's like saying and this goes back to the 80s. I'll buy, especially in Los Angeles, I'll buy a brick and mortar store and sell you stuff, but I won't live over here. You feel what I'm saying?
That's
and then
very
it's like, okay, like I can't. You know what I'm saying? That's not cool with me. That's not cool with anyone.
We got a question for you, and this came from Dr. Poole, who doesn't have access in 2025. Give a place, for example, I cannot, because they just started rolling back the DEI programs. Give us a year. Give us a year, because what's the other? Okay, so Trump, your boy, said that we're going to go back to a system of merit. How about that? Mm-hmm. Before the DEI programs came out, there was no system of merit. It was the good old boy system. Good old boy meaning if you was white, you were right. Just keeping it real. That's what it was before the DEO programs. Give it a year, Dr. Poole. For those of us that are white, we're going to get a chance to see if merit truly exists. There was no merit. That's why you had affirmative action. That's why you had the DEI programs, and not just LGBTQ plus. They got included in there. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know why people thought that DEI program, it was just for LGBTQ plus. It's for everybody.
And I think now in 2025, we have been benefiting from the DEI programs. So some people have forgotten, because we are benefiting now for the most part.
Yeah.
So when you take it away, then you'll see, like, you'll see.
Give it a year. Give it a year. We got people complaining about not being able to get jobs now. We'll see, man. If you think this country is truly, matter of fact, that's my challenge to you, Bobby. If you think this country is fair, get rid of your woman-owned designation for your company and go get the jobs. Just work hard for it. Get rid of your veteran-owned designation. Get rid of your disabled veteran-owned designation, and go after those contracts with just pure grit and grind. If you think this country is truly that fair. And that goes for anyone who takes advantage of those designators from the Small Business Administration, right? Just get rid of it. Yeah. If you think this country is fair, because you don't need it, you'll be able to do one better.
I do one better. Go and start doing it now, because if it doesn't change, then you're good. But if it does change, you're already prepared. Because of the fact that, I mean, let's just be honest. We don't know what the heck may happen.
I mean, realistically, asking people to go back to the state and possibly have to pay fees to remove those markers off, that's probably not something I'm going to jump to take care of. Because
why did you get them to begin with, though?
Well, because the company's owned by me, solely by me.
Right. And you have, and there's benefits for you being a disabled veteran. There's benefits for that. And the reason being, you want to take advantage. I would love for you to take advantage of it. Like me, you know what I'm saying? There's benefits. There's things out there for us to be able to take advantage of. If those things, put it like this, if DEI never exists, those opportunities would never exist.
It would have never existed.
I think they just called us disadvantaged, small business. They just called it disadvantaged.
Disadvantaged minorities, underserved communities. All these words are synonyms, right? But all these programs fell under the DEI umbrella. But I think it just got misconstrued that it was only for LGBTQ plus, because like they're still.
So I've never thought that. I've never thought that it was primarily for that community or nothing.
But the LGBT plus is also inclusive. There are a lot of LGBT people, and they should be represented too.
Right.
Without a doubt. For some reason though, because I'm just, the reason why I keep saying that is because there a lot of chatter on IG that's kind of anti-DEI. Because they're correlating DEI with just trans and LGBTQ plus.
That's why I said there's a bad negative connotation using the words DEI. When you automatically see that, like I told you, I roll my eyes like, look, I don't want to listen to none of that.
And that's just lack of knowledge, though. I mean, it's really just, and not in a bad way, it's pure ignorance, because most people don't know. I'm the governance person. I read policies. You know what I'm saying? And that's news you
and
can
we love you for that, Geronimo.
Appreciate it. Since we talking about it, everybody was calling Kamala Harris DEI, right? The think that she got her position from DEI, right? I don't believe so. I think what she did was she was able to benefit being an educated woman, and then they looked at that like, okay, because think about it, you're educated, these policies are in play. Why not go ahead and be the vice president? If the president feels that you were fit to do the job, if the president picks you, you're the president. I mean, you're the vice president. Pence had the same opportunity, right? What's the vice president now? Because he's been radio silent for a while.
Vance? No, he hasn't. He just did the live with the nation with the CBS News.
Yeah, but I heard more about Musk than I heard about him after the presidency. Is what I'm saying. But no, that's beyond the point. What I'm going back to is the fact is, if you earn the stripes, if you got what it takes, then DEI will put the light on you. It's like this. I'm in the dark, right? I got all these skills. I'm eligible to do the job. DEI was like, oh, so we have somebody in this department that can do the job. Let me go ahead and hire this person.
You know what? Let me rephrase that because I don't think it's really going to be understood how you're saying it because you're being nice. DEI made it to where you could not be eliminated just because you were a minority, which is what was happening before these programs ruled out. Hey, if I got the application and Danny's last name might sound black, I'm throwing it over there. DEI prevented you from being able to do that. And if you got caught, you paid penalties. That's what the true purpose of the DEI program was for. You know what I mean? Because that stuff happened. I shared with you that I purposely gave my son a white sounding middle name to get him around that because I know the deal. You know what I mean? Like do stuff like that. When you understand how the system works, think about it. For us in our 40s, when we were born, the Civil Rights Act was only 20 years old.
Yeah.
Only 20 years old. Yeah. We're still learning how to treat each other fairly is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. There's so many times when I walked up to because my name, Jorge Giovanni Alvarez. Ain't no black in that name. But when they say my name, I'm black as day. You feel what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, it's like you have to be, especially when back in the 90s, you have to be strategic. You feel what I'm saying?
You did. I remember my mom taught me how to use my white voice on a job interview. I don't know if your parents taught you that, but my mom told me when you go on that interview, you better use your white voice, right? Yep. And again, if we were a fair nation, 100%, I would not have had to use my white voice. No. You know what I'm saying? What's speaking proper? Yeah. What do they normally equate speaking proper to?
White.
Speaking white. Man, why you talking white? we heard that all the time growing up. But
I absolutely hate that. I said that the other day because I went to an all-black school. I think I might have been like the 15th white person in that school. And even though I'm mixed, I'm half Hispanic, half white. It doesn't matter. People looked at your skin color. We're like, bitch, you white. Whatever. I don't got time to deal with none of you suckers. Anyways, they would say that there were black kids who I could tell they were smart. I could tell they were very smart. They were very they had etiquette. They were taught manners, and because of that, immediately other black kids would gang up on them, be like, "Stop trying to be white. Stop trying to be white. Stop talking or acting like you're white." And when I was like in 7th grade, I'm like, first of all, 1, that's ugly. 2, why are you telling them that? Because I don't understand how that has anything to do with it. Because you could go and see white people in different parts of the United States, and they're not educated. They're not talking like that either, though.
You also gotta ask where that comes from. Why? Like, because even K Free said that he calls it the professional voice. Why does talking white get equated to being professional? But if you talk any other way, you're not perfect. If you speak pidgin because you come from Hawaii, if you have a Spanglish accent because you come from San Antonio, if you have
you talking about me?
If you have Ebonics accent because you come from Brooklyn or South Central, why can't that be professional? You know what I mean? Like
Brooklyn people speak very professional, sir.
In South Central, we do know how to carry the.
You sound great, Danielle. Don't worry, you sound fantastic.
But I throw that out there to just show examples that we have misconceptions that we have not grown out of yet. As you said it, we're a young nation. We're still maturing. I don't think we're mature enough to be able to protect each other without these layers of protection. You remove these layers of protection, I fear we will go back to the good old boy system. What we got? Michael Ackroyd. Read that, Corey.
He said, my boy Matthew Bowser, who's black, dad named him that so he wouldn't be overlooked for jobs or colleges with a white name. Straight up.
And for those that don't know, Michael Ackroyd, he's white. So that's
There you go.
He's an ally. He's an ally. He a friend of mine who just posted that comment on YouTube.
Right there.
Right there. Boom.
Right on, man.
That's really what I'm trying to get out there is I don't think a lot of people understood how much you may have benefited from it. Or in the case of you, Bobby, when you got those designations, you got those designations from the DEI umbrella so that you can get that hand up, because our federal government realized that women-owned companies historically didn't have a fair shot. So people need to understand that, to where let's not just keep punching down on the LGBTQ community, because I love them too, but it's not all about them. It ain't all about you, boo-boo.
And I'm sure there's some money that was I'm sure there was some money that was being contributed to these corporations that had the DEI programs inside of them.
Yeah, definitely. You there were tons of money that was pushed there, and it's really just to treat in sensitivity type programs, because we did it in the military, right? So we knew if we were going into certain countries, we need to understand their cultures and customs and stuff like that, so we didn't disrespect them. That's also another pillar of the DEI programs, is I need to understand, how my coworker is from a different group, so maybe I don't step out of bounds and disrespect you. Yeah.
I could hear about, like, I think I could understand corporate companies and stuff doing sensitivity training. That would be different. But like I would mention about the Coca-Cola sitting people down and telling them you should be ashamed of your skin color. Like, no, that's not going to get us anywhere. If anything, that's just going to move us back.
And to reiterate, that was the wrong implementation of the DEI program, if that actually happened, right?
Because, just use that as an example.
Yeah.
But you get it.
Yeah, it's cultural sensitivity training, really, is what it, right? Yeah. Why do we need cultural sensitivity training?
Because you want to be able to have a professional conversation and not offend people.
Yeah.
Or I guess not. I mean, you don't know what you don't know. You can sit here and have a conversation, not realizing almost every word you're saying is offending somebody just because you don't know.
Because I believe, remember, the words we used to use, that now has been changed. I'm pretty sure it's because DEI has an effect on it. We couldn't call people. Remember, the F word was very, very harsh.
Then I say it.
No, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? The F word, very harsh. The N word, very harsh. You know what I'm saying? You have to think about these things, and companies didn't know what to call them. Hell, we went from NIGGER to NIGGA to coloreds to blacks to African Americans. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because corporations didn't know how to address us. Yeah. And if it wasn't for DEI programs, they still wouldn't know how to address us. Now they know how to address us, but think about it. I look at this thing as, if this never existed, that's where we would be in the 21st century. That'd be horrible.
It'd be horrible.
It'd be horrible if this didn't exist. And now we're removing it. You know what I'm saying? So now you're going to build technologies that doesn't have us in mind. If you think about it right now, if you go to Midjourney and you put in a black African American person, they will bring you up a person on there for AI will generate a non-black person with probably a different skin tone other than black. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, this DEI rollback,
it's not going to be a good for a lot of minorities, man. It's not going to be good. I don't have faith in this country.
It's going to skyrocket.
What you say, Dani?
Toxicity of workplace is going to skyrocket from everything from when you start removing those boundaries as a woman, when it's already challenging in a male dominant, even though my workplace now is predominantly women, but if you're a woman working in predominantly male workplace, some of the things I've heard, especially like being in the military, that I've heard, but there was a boundary, like these are things you cannot say or do. So that's going to walk through the hallways with that being gone. I could not. I'm not built for that anymore.
Good point. To your point. So when I did my DEI training, I was in Korea. I was in the office of network controllers. We ran the network for our base in Korea. And then we had an influx of women coming in. Yo, I had like 40 guys I had to take to the side and be like, hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not gonna be saying this. You're not gonna be making this type of joke. You better not be looking like this. You better not be trying to play grabby. Y'all better cut all that shit out.
Yeah.
No, for real.
No, for real. Like
I had policies that backed you up.
And the policies, like I had to dig into them. But like y'all, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, y'all not gonna be doing none of this to these females because we not having none of those issues in this shop. We are here to focus on work. You know what? And thank goodness I had that DEI training. I mean, I had to get it anyway, supervisor, right? But I had to tap into that because I'm not having no incidents on my watch. You know what I mean? Because she's right. Without those type of programs to give the right training, you do have sexual assault cases at the office. Ain't no room for that. Sexual harassment. There's no room for that. We here to make money, man. You know what I mean? Like,
and then even in today's day, like I literally had to sit down with a coworker and give them some extra guidance on how to pass the sexual assault training. Some things just was not clicking, and I'm like, no, like that is not appropriate. I had to literally like explain, and this was maybe, I'm not going to say, but within the last 5 years.
And good point. That's also part of the inclusion thing, right? We need to be able to include each other to where a young man should know how to come into an office.
Older man.
Older man, young man, whatever.
Because it affects seniors too.
It does. Like, it should be age agnostic. Like, everyone should be able to treat everyone professionally. That's one faction of the DEI program, but the main important thing I'm concerned on is everyone should have a fair shot. When you talk about merit, we should be able to go off of merit, but these programs were created because historically we were not. So I'm gonna tell you right now,
well, time will tell. I'm
very scared. So I'm about to load up on bullets and I'll be ready just in case. I'm keeping it real.
Yes. I was down here in New York City, but to get a gun in New York City is damn near impossible.
Oh, I'm in Texas, so
I know. That's what I said. Yeah.
Oh, good. So, yeah, man. Final thoughts on that around the room, Corey, Dani, Bobby.
I'll let the ladies go first.
I want to say, Geronimo, you summed it up perfectly, like with all of the facts. All facts. Thank you.
Hey, I'm just trying to look out for our people, man. When I say our people, I mean Americans.
Yes. All Americans.
Yes.
All Americans.
No, but you have to, go ahead. I'm gonna let
if one of us is impacted for the most part, because even if I'm sitting here, you know, getting all the jobs, I have all the money, but I walk out and you are not, that impacts me too. To some degree.
I was gonna say that, but I want to be respectful. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people that, you know what I'm saying, that because I don't feel like all large businesses like this rollback. I think they kind of hurts them because not just in the pockethood, but in the morale. You know what I'm saying? The fact that they know that Joe Schmo coffee shop can't compete with a Starbucks, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But they're on the same street. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. You know, that's why I'm like, again, you know, hey, what it's going to make us do is going to make us work harder and be stronger. And if we don't cut it, then you know what I'm saying? We just going to have to find another way. I mean, me as a spiritual person, I know God got me. You know what I'm saying? I just really, really, you know what I'm saying? I have empathy for those who don't have the same faith like me, but still out there as a minority business that's trying to get their feet off the ground.
Yeah.
I told you I have empathy. I just have empathy. Mm-hmm. So you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Final thoughts on that, Bobby?
Gives me something different to kind of look at. I'm still weary on some things because I've said this many times on the podcast that we are not always being fed the truth. And in order to find the truth, we have to go and seek the truth. And I think that's just kind of what it is. You can't always listen to whatever the media is telling you because they lie like a dog.
Hey, to your point, that's why we here. News you could use. We're gonna clear it up. I'm gonna give it to you, but you know, my last thought is I think about the kids, right? Because like hate is a learned behavior, right?
It is.
And when you understand America, right? And maybe it wasn't even hate. It's human nature to really go for what you know, right? Like, let's pretend I'm white. If I'm white and I own my business, all my buddies most likely will probably be white. So who you think I'm gonna look out for and get out for a job for? My buddies.
And it's not because they white, it's because they're your buddy.
It's just you like hangs and attracts with like. Birds of a feather stick together, right? I hope that our kids and the younger generations, when they get out there in the workforces, right? It's not just like that. It's not just, I'm just gonna look out for my buddy, you know what I mean? But it's human nature.
Yeah.
Without these programs to protect you against, I would say, human nature, right? I don't know, man. I am scared for the children, man, because I don't know if without those guardrails in place, will people be able to go against this natural human nature and only want to surround themselves with the likeness of themselves? You know what I mean? And that's really what it goes down to. I don't know. Historically, we haven't proven that. So we're going into new territory. So I guess
maybe some of that depends on your culture. Because if you grow up with knowing only Black people, that's going to be your people. But I grew up in a very mixed culture, so my people are all very mixed. So I don't see it like that. Last I saw, everybody was a child of God. That's how I looked at it.
Right.
So if you were cool, sweet, we're gonna be best friends. That's all I need to know.
This is true. Cool. I mean, and to be fair, how many Fortune 500 companies do you own with the ability to hire or not hire people? Because that's really what it comes down to. Like, do they feel like that? Will the people that take ownership of their companies and move on, will they think like that?
Not like.
We shall see.
Well, one thing I can say is this, and it's been proven in history. If it fails, then somebody's gonna fix it eventually. If it, I mean, you know what I'm saying? If it fails, somebody gonna. Because here's the thing: whether you're Republican, Democrat, Black, white, DEI for, DEI against, it's gonna affect everybody.
Yes, it will.
And
yes, it will.
How it affects everybody depends on when the next. If it's bad, the next president come in, they roll it back. They go. I mean, we've seen Trump just go ahead and erase what Biden did. So maybe the next person, if things aren't right, if it doesn't work, if there's no benefit to it, if everybody's gonna be like, oh my God, what the hell just happened? Then 3 years in, they're gonna be like, okay, we got to do something different. It may be another Republican president that do it. They be like, you know what? I didn't stand with him when he did this, and I have this, or it may be a Democrat, or it may be an independent. Somebody's gonna make a change if it doesn't work. Yeah.
So you know that term, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right? We all know that term. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Nothing was wrong with the giving disadvantaged businesses, a leg up in the not just in the community, but in the ability to be able to get those government contracts or anything like that. But I like I was saying, that using the word now DEI gives it immediately a negative connotation. So you may not ever look at it like that. But if the system wasn't broke when we had that, why try to fix something that wasn't broken to begin with?
Good point, but understand it's definitely on the chopping block as part of the DEI rollback, because that is a DEI program. Everyone needs to understand that.
Right.
I hear you.
And I look at the funds, right? The money that will be the programs that they had that were incorporated. What I believe Elon Musk said that he has a way to be able to offset the $1 trillion that we were in deficit, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is part of it.
It is. It is.
It is part of it. So it's not about black, white. With this. It's about money.
It is about money, and let me.
It's always about money.
It's always about money, and I'm not trying to say that the people that are in power are racist. I'm not saying that, but I think they're naive. They're very naive to think that this country is mature enough to treat each other fairly without these guardrails in place. I don't think we are. I'm not, and that's just real spill. And one thing I would say is the indicator, the metric to watch as we progress to see if it's working. Mm-hmm. Watch where the unemployment rises. Which communities will we see those upticks in the unemployment rates? That will tell you if it's working or not.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna leave it on that.
Okay.
But hopefully we are better Americans and we are looking out for each other as Americans, regardless of your color, creed, and race. You know what I mean? So we shall see.
We will.
Shall see.
You know what I'm saying?
End us on a positive note, because you're the poet. End us on a positive note.
Oh, look at this fluffy doggy.
Hey, the puppy.
This is you guys' part. Do you remember this one?
Yeah.
She was a baby when you saw her last.
Yup.
I would leave us with a positive note that these changes, at this moment, there's nothing we can do about that, right?
True.
However, we have to do what we can do, which is take care of each other as best we can. And when you are in your community, do your best to still, support the small businesses, the women-owned businesses, the Black-owned businesses, without, still do your best to do it. That is what you can do.
Yeah. Change is always going to start at home. It's always going to start in the community. You can be a light to your community for sure. Good point, Danielle. That's perfect.
Good point. I like that.
The companies are not giving you what you need. Mm-hmm. Boycotting is perfectly reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a personal choice for sure.
I like that. Heck yeah. One more time, Dani. Tell folks how to get in touch with you and tell them again when to expect that book that you're self-publishing.
Yes, my book is going to be released on March 21st. And I'll be back to share more details.
We've been looking forward to it.
Good luck.
Bobby Lopez, let them know what you can help folks out with if they're in the San Antonio area.
You can find me on Facebook at Bobby Lopez, on IG, Bobby.Lopez.5. I'm the owner of Patriot Restorations, LLC. We are a water mitigation company here in the Bexar County area, servicing Bexar, Wilson, Atascosa, Medina counties. We are making sure that if you have a water leak inside your house, once that leak gets fixed, we can come in and get everything dried out to prevent mold.
There you go. I might have to call you back to come over here to fix this.
Oh, really? You're having another issue?
Since I finally figured out what that clog was. So
okay.
Hit her up if y'all need that work. Real quick, before we get you to sign off, Corey, we had a question. This is from Creative Native. Whose damn smoke alarm was that in the background? They want to know.
Not mine.
Not mine. Not it.
I don't think it was mine.
Let's smoke alarm.
Danielle, what smoke alarm? Okay.
What smoke alarm?
It was a smoke detector. It was chirping the whole
time.
Look, it just went off again.
Hey, don't put her on blast. She the guest.
All right, Corey Giovanni. What can you help folks with if they need them services?
Well, look. Core ENT, we provide media entertainment services, whether you want to get commercials for your business or you want advertisement on your social medias to broaden your horizon and enlarging your footprint inside the medias. We also have a streamcast process when if you want to go live with your podcast, or if you want an in-person setup, feel free to reach out. We also have ebooks as well. Touch me at coreent.biz.
You really want them to touch you, Diddy? Oh,
No Diddy. No Diddy.
And I'm at tech_Von_Go at Instagram. The short-term rental is almost ready. It'll be live soon on hotels.com, booking.com, hiltonrentalhomes.com, VRBO, and Airbnb. And then I'm working on acquiring a couple of land parcels too, so I'll have some land for sale pretty soon. So anyone that's looking to buy land, you trying to build your dream house, I'll let you go in a few months. I'll have that for you. Other than that, y'all have a good night, man. We had another good episode. We love y'all.
Thank you for joining us, Dani.
Yes, thank you.
It was all my pleasure.